Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of PIMG interview. Our today's guest is an incoming OBGYN resident, Dr. Deemantha, all the way from Sri Lanka and here to share his experiences. So welcome on board, Doctor, and once again, congratulations on your match.
Thanks, Dikshit. Yep, I appreciate it.
Yeah. So my first question for you is how we would like to begin by knowing more about your USMLE journey, like your timeline and when you graduated from medical school. All about that, if you could just brief.
Sure. So I started. I'm from Sri Lanka, born and raised. Went to high school there. After that, I got a scholarship to study medicine in Russia, and so I went to Russia in 2010. So since it was a scholarship, the first year we had to learn the Russian language and then transition into medical school. And the medical school is there 6 years. So I graduated in 2017, and then I moved to the United States in 2018.
Great.
Then that's when I started my USMLE journey. I took step one in 2018, by I think around the end of 2018.
Awesome.
And then I took step 2 CS first, also by beginning of 2019, and then step 2 CK also in 2019.
Yeah, right. And now you finally matched after a great marathon. Yeah. So could you elaborate on why you always wanted to pursue the USMLE journey, or why residency in the US? Or did any plans changed, or you decided from the start? How was it?
No, I did not have such plans to come into the USA initially or during the med school. Thing is, I came to the United States because of my family, because of my wife. She's also like a medical graduate, went to Russia with me, but she wanted to do a PhD here in the United States, like a pursue career in academia. That's how I ended up here in the USA. So she got selected for her PhD here, and then I followed her. Then in order to kind of for me to practice medicine, then I started the USMLE journey.
Yeah, so a roller coaster ride after all.
Yes.
Yeah. So coming to your specialty, what prompted you to choose OBGYN over all other specialties? Did you like it from the start, or had any special interest for that?
Sure. So even way before med school, I always wanted to pursue a career in a surgical specialty, general surgery, or OBGYN, or even anesthesiology, do pain medicine and stuff like that. Where you can do a lot of procedures and surgeries.
Yeah. Right.
So that's what my focus was from the very beginning. That's why I wanted to pursue a career in surgery or surgical specialty. So then I kind of when I was going through this process, I thought, okay, OBGYN would be a good fit for me. It's a well balanced specialty where you get to do a lot of surgeries, procedures, as well as see clinical medicine. You can practice clinical medicine as well. So that's why I thought to pursue a career in OBGYN.
Nice. So as you said, OBGYN is highly competitive amongst IMGs. So what advice do you have for the upcoming aspirants who would like to go about it?
So yes, as I initially mentioned, it is highly competitive even for US grads. The thing is, when I talked to a couple of program directors, the ACOG, the American College of OBGYNs, they have changed a lot during the past few years, I think, in terms of recruiting residents into OBGYN. So they want to have more diverse in the society, in the OBGYN community. So I think they kind of trying to focus in IMGs too. In that's what I kind of got. So I mean, for one most important thing, I mean, I cannot pinpoint on one thing. I would say there are lot of things gonna kind of decide how if you can get matched into OBGYN. Most importantly, I thought networking, like talking to OBGYN like as faculty, talking to program directors, it's very important to show, because that's how I kind of started. I emailed a program director where I do the research fellowship, and she asked me to come and meet her, and we talked, and she asked me why OBGYN, why am I interested, and kind of like to show your interest. It's very important. And even during the interview, one USIMG, she told me, she's I think third year or fourth year resident. She told me that she went to the ACOG conference where she met a lot of program directors, and she went to talk to them, and that's how that was like very really helped her to finally match into OBGYN. That's the kind of like same thing happened to me, and so it's not like necessarily direct contact, maybe through some other physicians that really also helped me, like in the clinics that I volunteered, the physicians, and through them I managed to reach out to the program director. So that is very important. And I'm not sure if this is 100%, but from the things that I've heard, starting from next year, they are looking for like a standardized letters of recommendations. So it's definitely, if you want to pursue OBGYN residency, you're probably going to have some sort of network, some sort of connection with US OBGYNs.
Yeah, right.
And I would say, other than that, like community engagement, like the hospital that I matched into is a community-based hospital where they see a lot of underserved population, poor people, and I have that background by volunteering in free clinics. That really kind of like helped me out. So it's just like not one or two things. It's how you are gonna present yourself, present your CV to the program director. If they can see, okay, this guy, this person is like interested in OBGYN. He has some sort of like community involvement, especially like involvement with the LGBTQ community, and some sort of like some kind of research experience. Maybe I'm not sure. My research experience played a huge role getting into residency, but I had that. So you kind of need like everything in your CV to be competitive in OBGYN.
Right. So those were some great tips, doctor. And like I believe ultimately all things epicenter to networking. You have to connect to people. You have to talk to them, right? So as you mentioned about your extensive research experience, how, like, what tips for you have for the upcoming aspirants, like how to go about research, especially in improving their CV, and if some competitive specialties like general surgery or some other surgical branches which like ask for extensive research. So how should aspirants go about that?
So there are actually many ways you can find a research spot here in the USA. It's not like that. Most of the time you have like just one place to go and look for vacancies or research spots. You're going to have to individually look for universities like clinic, like Mayo Clinic or Cleveland Clinic or other medical universities, and look what sort of like positions they have. Every university, every hospital, they have like a specific, like a separate like a website where they post all the jobs and research positions. And you start like look for them and start emailing them and send your CV, send your like a letter of interest, just through emailing, and through also again through networking, through communication. That's the most easiest way to find it. And the other way, one good method is to find out if there are current research fellows or any other researchers in these positions and try to reach out to them. Sometimes they get if they are like MDs, they get matched into residency, and they would like recommend you to their current position. So that's another way to do that.
Yeah, right. So that was some great tips once again. Like, yeah, if many aspirants are interested in research, that will be valuable. And again, now if we talk about the ERA CV, like if like yeah, and what PDs look at is the USCs. So how much USCs you had, and like what advice would you like to give to the aspirants about USCs? How to go about them
So,
again?
again, the US clinical experience is now getting more and more kind of, they started to look into it a lot.
Yeah,
It seems like, and even when you kind of like go through like residency, like websites, they most of the time they say like observerships are not not considered as a US clinical experience, or even like
exactly.
externships are not considered.
Yeah,
So it seems like you need, so in terms you like for US clinical experience, you have to have some hands-on patient interaction clinical experience,
yeah,
where ultimately you're gonna like prove that you had such an experience through your letters of recommendations, and they have to come from like practicing US physicians, where they can like evaluate for your clinical skills. And it's much different here in the USA from what you learned from your home country. The method, the ways that we saw a
yeah,
patient, how
right.
we taught them, it's much more different here. So they if they can kind of like vouch for that, okay, this person, the physicians that you work with or staff with can vouch for that. Oh, this person has like great skills, patient communication skills are much
Yeah,
like really good. Differential diagnosis is really good. Is
right.
more engaged in, especially with not just like physical wellness, the mental wellness, how to talk to patients and things like
Yeah,
that. They are very important. So uh, so I haven't done any like paid rotations or anything like that. My
okay.
US clinical experience are mostly through the free clinics that I volunteered, where I had like a really extensive like hands-on clinical experience. It was
Yeah,
just like a small, I would say like a family medicine residency like that, because
yeah, I got
it's yeah. So with me, that there were like residents like coming from other hospitals to rotate in that clinic. We were like the same. We saw the patients and staff, the attendings, and came the management together. So it really helped me. Even though I know it is like experience from a free clinic is much not considered compared to a clinical rotation that you do in a hospital, especially like a university hospital, something like that. But
right.
it's actually something, especially the letters of recommendations that I got from the physicians in that clinics played a huge role me getting into match.
Right, right. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that information. My next question for you is, with the pandemic going on, IMGs do face a lot of challenges. And one of the challenges, the major ones, was finding USCs. So, what were the challenges you had to face during the pandemic time, and how did you overcome them?
So I started like volunteering in these clinics like before the
Oh,
pandemic.
right.
And actually, during the pandemic, the clinics were shut down because we couldn't see patients, and I
Yeah.
could do anything. And one clinic, they started doing like tele visit, which I did a couple of those things. And so it was kind of like a brief time period, especially the beginning of the pandemic. People were like, even not just me, people were like, didn't know what to do.
What
Everything
to
was
do?
shut
Yeah.
down. We were just locked down. We were just at our homes, not doing nothing. It was even at that time. It was the time I started like emailing all over the United States looking for a research position, and everybody was saying same thing. There is a hiring freeze, pandemic going on. We cannot take you. Maybe try next year. And some like research positions, they said like we won't be hiring at least for another 2-3 years. So
Oh my God.
that was the time, yeah. But I know now it's things are getting much better. Things are started to recover here,
Yeah, right.
and they have started do some tele rotations, which is I think really good. I mean, at this moment, at least that yeah, maybe you won't be able to have some hands-on US clinical experience, but at least to put something on your CV, because program director is going to understand it, like okay, there's something pandemic was going on, and people couldn't get such experience. They are understandable. So I would say anything that you can do to get some US clinical experience, go for it.
Yep, right. Thanks. So my next question for you is that USMLE is, of course, a long and arduous journey, which requires hard work, time, and good amount of money. So, like, what were the challenges you faced during all of this journey, and how did you overcome them again? Like the major ones.
Yes, exam cost is super high. So that's one thing, to find money to pay the exams, and especially I took CS, which I had to I had to travel to the to Chicago, to the exam center, and stay in a hotel for one day. So that was in terms of cost, it can be challenging because it's expensive, and every year they are keep increasing the and other than that, for especially, I mean, I was in the United States when I took all the exams, so I didn't have to kind of like travel anywhere for that. But for IMGs who are outside the United States, and if they don't have like a prometric centers in their countries, then they're going to have to travel other places, other countries, and that can be challenging. So plan ahead. You have to kind of like plan ahead. When are you going to take the exams, and what's the timeline? And it's very like independent. So how you can manage that, how you can plan that. So it's very important because it's the most important thing in this journey in order to get matched. USMLE, I mean, scores are still a big thing, and if you fail and a step, it's a big red flag. And there are people who got matched with failed steps, but it's a that's gonna make this journey very, very arduous. Okay? So try to kind of like focus on that. This is the most important exam in life that you're gonna take. So do whatever it takes to take a good get a good score, and kind of like not waste your money, and also kind of like make sure that you're gonna pass the exam, and that's kind of like the start for this journey.
Especially now, step one is pass fail, given the fact. One thing I want to add, that if we look all this from a perspective of investment, that can be really fruitful. That ultimately, when you match, it'll all pay off. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna all pay off someday.
Absolutely. It's just like you spend like whatever the amount that you had to, I don't know, sell your property or like do whatever it takes to do this. Once you are done, and once you get matched, and that's it. It'll be paid off.
Really. Yeah. So my next question for you is that how many programs did you apply to, and how many interviews did you get in return? Plus, how did you rank your programs in the rank order list?
So I for OBGYN, I only applied about like 25 programs, because I looked all the programs in the list, and there were about like, I'm not sure, about like 100 or so programs, but I looked each and every program, and wanted to kind of see, is there any chance, like at least like a 0.1 possibility that they would consider my application? If there is no, then I did not apply for that, because it's money, it's very expensive.
Yeah, of course.
And I looked for everything, all the details, like do my qualifications gonna match with their requirements, and even because most of the time they don't even like look at the application. Sometimes they just gonna filter it. It's not going to get seen by the program director. So then after like a really thorough review of all the programs, I came up with like 23, 24 programs, and which I applied, and I got 2 interviews.
Oh, great.
So one interview, it was a university program, and the other one, which I got matched, it was a community-based program. Okay. So both programs had its kind of pros and cons, because the university program and a community program can be very different. So I looked up, I thought about a lot of factors and kind of balance it to which program to rank. One thing was because I was doing research in a university hospital. You can have more focus in research, because the OBGYN department in that university program, they do a lot of research. They have like multiple, like even basic science. So I was thinking about that, because research can be beneficial, can gonna play a major role when you apply for like a fellowship. So I'm also kind of planning to apply for a fellowship eventually. So that's one thing. And the other thing, they had like a lot of residents. They take 9 residents per year. Oh, and in this company, they have like all the subspecialties too. And in the community hospital, they only take 3 residents per year. It's a small residency program, but they focus a lot of about the community involvement, seeing a lot of like bread and butter cases in OBGYN. A lot of serious cases like high risk OB is there. And they do a lot of like robotic surgeries. All the hospitals have like a robot, and the residents get trained well in those things. So I kind of balance each and every aspect of the programs, and kind of like wanted to think where I would be like. For me, what can they give for me, like for my career, and then I kind of like decided to rank the programs, and then I got matched.
2 interviews and boom.
And that's the thing. Like one of my mentors, he's a surgical oncologist. He's an IMG. One thing he told me that he matched with one interview into surgery prelim, and then he became a one of the well-known surgical oncologists here. So he told me, like, you just need like one interview, one interview that gonna rank you. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we are approaching at the end of the session, and my last question for you is, what message do you have for a fellow IMGs listening to this interview?
Work hard. I mean, it's a tough journey. Take it serious, and kind of broaden your network. Reach out to people, talk to people, email them. If you had to email 1,000 a day, do it, because I did that to get like a research position. So keep talking to them. Keep nagging them, bugging them. I'm interested. Please take me. I really want to do this. This is what I want to do. Something, because opportunities, you never know. Like opportunities one day gonna come and knock on your door, and voila, that's all you need. So keep that in mind. Try everything. Everything you could do in order to get matched. That's what I can say.
Just sell yourself out.
Absolutely, you have to do that, and you have to kind of learn how to do that, how to sell yourself. In a way.
Skill.
That's very important. Like one of my current PI, she just like before I went to the real interview, I kind of practiced with her. She kind of like told me, how are you going to sell yourself? That's what she asked me. That's very important, especially for like Americans. They really want someone very casual and very kind of exciting. Someone very enthusiastic. Like
Exactly.
one advice I got from another attending for an interview, she said like, just shine. You have to shine during the interview.
Right.
And people can see that. People can see it in your face. Interviewers they've been doing this for a long time. They can distinguish from whether if you are really enthusiastic or interested in this, or you are just not. So you get only like think like you get only one chance, and you have to take, like be the best in that scenario, in that point. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank you. And it was really nice and informative talk to you, Dr. Deemantha. Thank you for all your time and wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and may you success in them. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, feelings are mutual. Thank you, Doc. Bye.